Okay, what's going on here? People in chat were talking about this, and I thought you were talking about, like, earlier stories. There's a new development. Musk challenges Brazil's order to block certain Twitter accounts. So, Brazil, a few years ago, passed a law that made it illegal to be straight. So the judge was like, yo, Twitter, you gotta block all straight people in Brazil, or we'll arrest you, or something. Yeah, we're putting all straight people in the lulags, okay? And so we need you to give us a list of all heterosexuals on Twitter that are in Brazil. And Elon, the brave free speech warrior, said no. That's the last thing I remember hearing. What else has happened? Musk is challenging a decision by a Supreme Court justice in Brazil who ordered his social media platform Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, always known as Twitter, to block certain accounts, and he called on Sunday for the judge's resignation. This judge has brazenly and repeatedly betrayed the Constitution and people of Brazil. He should resign or be impeached. Shame, Alexander, shame. This is a very effective legal strategy. In an earlier post, Musk said Twitter was lifting all the restrictions decided by Justice Alexander de Moraes on certain undisclosed accounts in Brazil and would publish details of the order despite the judge's prohibition on doing so. This judge has applied massive fines, threatened to arrest our employees, and cut off access to Twitter in Brazil, Musk posted on Saturday evening. I'm going to guess that that's a lie. The judge can apply fines. I'm pretty sure that the judge can't threaten to arrest the employees or cut off access to Twitter in Brazil. That would be like a legislative thing. Maybe I'm wrong? I would need to see, but right now we only have Musk's word to go on it. As a result, we'll probably lose all revenue in Brazil and have to shut down our office there, but principles matter more than profit. Can I say something about Brazil? You guys are like a beacon of sunshine on the internet. I love seeing your dumbasses posting about Goku and Luffy, and I love your food, and I love your weird selective application of which slurs are okay, and I love the fact that you're like the only country that seems to be more multiracial than America, basically. You know, you're a ray of sunshine, and I think that your absence from Twitter, if that's what it comes to, will be missed. But heterosexuals need to be sent to the lulags. You understand. Musk promised to legally challenge the order where possible. Brazil's Solicitor General, Jorge? That'd be Jorge, right? Messias? Criticized Musk's decision and called for regulation of social media networks to prevent foreign platforms from violating Brazilian laws. Vosh, remember how he cucked out to Turkey to not be shut down, but he's standing up to Brazil? Curious? Yeah, it's almost like all Turkey wanted him to do was ban and silence opponents of Erdogan, whereas the Brazilian law would have him regulate hate speech. Interesting. Rate the judge's cape? The judge has a cape? Hell yes. To which Elon replies, Brazil's Darth Vader? Does Elon think that makes him sound bad? He's like, Darth Vader. Yeah, he looks great. Brazilian Nosferatu. Yeah, Brazilians are also, I don't know if I'd call them fashionable. I think I would call them fashion-oriented. I see a lot of wacky shit out of there, okay? You know? I feel like fashion in some parts of Southeast Asia, or like Hong Kong, is you go downtown and everyone just has like a perfectly curated bespoke outfit that they paid an enormous amount of money for, and they're all just voguing. They're all mewing, just walking around, you know? And in Brazil, you have people who look like Final Fantasy characters. Is Brazil the main character of real life, like, as a country? Because I see so much shit where it's like people who look like they're straight out of Kingdom Hearts sprinting through like a slum, you know? Looking happier than any person I've ever seen before. I love that for them. Luffy is Brazilian. So is Goku. Yes, come to Brazil. I might visit Brazil as long as the lulags are still up and operational, okay? You know? When Lula Silva gets like arrested and imprisoned for I don't know, some like bullshit whatever. Like, you know, the next time this all happens, I can't come, okay? I want to come while the lulags are up and operational. Thank you. We cannot live in a society in which billionaires domiciled abroad. Isn't Brazil dealing with mounting corruption, though? You, Isotope, you have to understand. Corruption in Latin America is both unavoidable and, in some contexts, charming, okay? Some of the corruption in Latin America is of the more, I'm blanking on the name, the older American politician, Huey Long, of the Huey Long variety, okay? where it's wacky, you know? It's zany. If you're not doing corruption in Latin America, then what are you even doing? Like, right, that is it even America? Wait, Latin America. No, out of respect for the Brazilian people, I'm just referring to Latin America as America today, okay? This is Los Estados Unidos. That's what I live in, okay? But America, you know, that's you guys. That's south of the the equator. From Clay Soldier 07, either I'm stupid, possible, or you're irresponsible, possible. A mystery. Both of these things could be true. I talked to a guy from Turkey, and he taught me to make Turkish coffee. After that, I looked into Turkey. They have really high trans acceptance. Not as high as ours, I think, but democracy does stand and people are fairly forward-thinking. Erdogan is a bit of a case, though. From the way you talk about Turkey, I thought it was a Turkey, the two negative things that I've said about Turkey over and over are, A, the behaviors of its government, which I fully stand by, and B, its inflation. I've not said much negative about the people of Turkey, and that's because I think of the people of Turkey a lot like I think of the people of Iran, where there's a really big disconnect between what's going on there on a social and political level. My understanding is that Turkey has an incredibly robust civil society, far more so than ours in most places, and that as a consequence of that, you know, it's one of those like you can hear about what the government's doing and they're being awful and the economy's terrible, but then you go out from your your apartment balcony in Istanbul and you look down at the street below you and everyone's bopping, you know, people are having a great time. I don't know. There's a lot of variety. Countries are a big place, you know. The world is a big place. What are non-binary people who don't gender non-conform saying? No one's 100% aligned with their gender role. It's not a matter of whether or not you identify with or agree with your gender role. It's more like, let me try to think. There are roles that get associated with identities, but identifying with an identity doesn't mean you necessarily agree with all the elements of that role, right? For example, I identify as not just a man, but I think of myself as a pretty masculine guy, right? Consider that an identity. Let's say, for example, like manly man, if that's the term we want to use. That's something I think of myself as, right? Now, that's just because that's like a choice on my part. There's no objective line on that. There are plenty of men manlier than me, you know, but there are roles that people would attach to being a manly guy that I often think are complete horseshit, right? There are tons and tons of like stupid machismo, masculine expectations, whatever else, that I just don't agree with and don't respect. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, there are some people who think that it's always effeminate to f their men, and like, obviously that's not the case. So it's identifying with something isn't just about whether or not you subscribe to the roles. There are non-binary people who identify as non-binary who nonetheless align with masculine or feminine gender roles because it's convenient to them or because they want to, you know? The identity and the roles correlate, but they don't necessarily determine anything. There isn't like a system here that has to make sense. These are irrational, arbitrary social constructs, you know?